Yo, what is going down? Welcome back to J Will Trap TV. Yo, it's your boy J Will. Welcome back. Hey guys, we're doing something a little different. Normally I'm doing those Canaan videos, but today I'm doing Atlanta. I'm doing Atlanta, baby. Let's go. All right, so in the first scene, we start off in the department store. We're working with Darius, right? Darius, he's coming in. He has an air fryer. There's a bunch of chaos going on. It looks like Black Lives Matter mixed with COVID going on, hitting hard, okay? So we're coming through. Darius, he's going to return this merchandise, and he comes up. The clerk is scared. He's freaking out. He's like, don't you see what's going on here? And Darius is like, yeah, man, I'm just trying to return my stuff. So Darius, he's trying to return his stuff. He doesn't have a receipt. The clerk starts to work with him because Darius wants to do the exchange. When the clerk takes out the cash, he thinks about it and he takes the cash and he runs with it. So then Darius is like, what the hell? So then the dude, he takes the cash, he dips out. Darius, he starts to leave the mall. He starts to walk out and there's this woman in a wheelchair. She's stopping everyone from leaving. No one can leave. So Darius explains to her that, hey, he didn't steal anything, he didn't loot anything. He already owned this and he was just trying to return it. She doesn't believe him. She tells him to stay there. So then Darius just kind of walks around. He just walks around. And then next, you know, the rest of the customers, they spray this lady down with the fire extinguisher. Darius continues to watch and she walks out and she just looks at Darius and she keeps following him as he walks away. So now we see Paperboy. He's stuck in traffic and Darius walks in, he hops in the car. And it turns out that the traffic was so bad that Darius was able to go to the department store, try to return the air fryer and come back and Paperboy was still in the same spot. So Paperboy, he's a little sad. One of his favorite rappers who he thinks is a legend, Blue Blood, passed away and they just announced it on the radio. They say that his manager knew about it for a while, but didn't announce it until just now. Paperboy also says he needs to go to the airport and Darius asks, well, why do you want to go to the airport? All these places we've traveled, New York, California, you haven't liked any of them. So I guess they're still famous, things are still successful, they're traveling, and it's been some time since the European tour, since they've been to these different places. They start to listen to Blue Blood, but Darius has to hop out the car because the woman in the wheelchair is in hot pursuit and he wants to lead her away from Paperboy. We next see Ernest and Van, and they're looking really, really good together. They're going to the mall, looks like they're doing some shopping. Ern, as they're going up a escalator, runs into a woman named Kenya who turns out to be a previous ex, and she seems attracted, seems to like how he's doing. He's looking good. He's not the scruffy Ern we used to know from season 1 and 2. Van plays it cool and they just, they're cordial and they wave her off, and as they walk away, Van says, oh man, it's almost impossible not to walk into someone you know at an Atlantic station. So they're going to fix Van's cell phone and they go into a carrier store and another woman is bang, 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 knocking on the window, trying to get Ern's attention, and Ern, politely waves her off, but then turn around, some dude from the store who's been working here for 10 years tries to get at Van and he tells, he's trying to connect with her, catch up with her. But then a customer comes up and he has to walk off. So then Van comments, oh man, that guy's been here for 10 years. It's almost like, he hasn't moved. And I'm sitting here thinking like, hey man, if you was trying to get at Van and you've been here for 10 years, bro, you should be the manager. So you should have had that guy right there, talking up that customer while you was trying to holler at Van. My boy Childish Gambino's on the side looking kind of upset that this whole thing is even happening right in front of him. But anyway, so we come back to Paperboy. He's in traffic, still in traffic. There's some dude outside live streaming, trying to put Paperboy, trying to get Paperboy's clout. So it looks like Pape is famous, man. Everybody in Atlanta knows who he is. Everybody's trying to, have him up in their phone. And, he gets upset and he drives off. We didn't see him over at a gas station. He's listening to Blue Blood now. And Blue Blood's music is like really hitting him. It's telling him like, hey, yo, I used to go to this restaurant called Dee Dee's and I would get this thing called a zoot pie. So then he goes over to a restaurant that he sees across the street and he gets the pie. And when he sits down while he's ordering the food, the music's still playing and they're talking about how there's meat going over his head and there's just like all these subliminal messages and stuff because the music's playing and it's like happening like, in real life. So he gets his food and he opens it up and there's a BB logo and in the music's saying that, he put it in the lid. So then he looks inside the lid and the thing is there. So he starts to think, yo, is this a scavenger hunt? So then he asks the cook, yo, do you know Blue Blood? And the cook is like, I don't know no Blue Blood. What are you talking about? So then he leaves. So we go back to the mall and Ern and Van are walking together. They're looking at all these people and they're kind of going through their bodies. They're saying, oh yeah, I dated that person for a year. I dated that person for a year. I dated that person for this long, whatever. It turns out that they can't find their car and they're kind of stuck in the mall. That Kenya girl walks up again and she's like, she introduces herself again and Ern's like, yo, you already introduced yourself. Hey, maybe you can help us. We're kind of lost. And then the girl says, yo, I've been lost too. So they kind of realize they're kind of stuck in this kind of weird purgatory. We now go to Darius and he's riding his bike. He's in the middle of nowhere. Everything's quiet. No one's around him. And all of a sudden we can things get quiet, we hear a bunch of crickets, and then that same woman in the wheelchair, she's coming up, she's coming from far away, and she comes up, and Darius is like, yo, I'm not a looter, I'm not an activist, I'm not with Antifa, I'm not with any of these people, leave me alone. This is my air fryer, I did not steal it, leave me alone. So then she follows him, and then he gets up on a platform where she cannot get to, but then she says, well, I'm just gonna wait. And I think what this is kind of representing is like, no matter what, even if, you know, you didn't steal something, you know, even if you're innocent, if you're a black man, something's always kind of there creeping behind you, following, and even if you elevate yourself, you still can't get away with it. So eventually he walks through, you know, he escapes through a fence, but if you pay attention, he also left this bike, which means even to get away with this stuff, you have to leave something, leave something behind to get away. Okay, so now we're back with Paperboy, and we're still listening to the Blue Blood song. The Blue Blood song talks about how he went to the East Swim Club public pool. It then tells him to go into a locker where he finds some blue chips. He then has to go on Williams and 10th to make a right. He then goes and hits a high score where he gets a special shirt. Then he does a deal with someone who has an arm, he has a QR code on his tattoo. He takes that code, he finds a comic book, he studies the comic book, he goes to a wash house. He gets some 3D glasses out of the wash house. He goes to see a movie. He finds another message in the movie. Then he ends up at this funeral home. This huge scavenger hunt throughout the song. He goes into the funeral home, and there's this woman named Keisha. She said that she's Blue Blood's wife, or widow, I guess, and his name was Gary. So she talks about how this song was a big scavenger hunt. There's been 5 people who've shown up. This guy, he put a lot of work into his music, worked really hard, really hard, and only 5 people showed up, right? And she says that she wished that he, you know, spent more time having fun and wasn't just working so hard. Pape goes to look at the body, and it's just like a skeleton. It's not even a real body anymore. And she says because he died a month ago, she's been doing this. So I'm not sure if she's been doing this ruse and 5 people have showed up in a month, or if this is the first day and the song is playing. But it seems like it's all just kind of fake, and this guy did something for nothing. So now we switch back to the mall, and it's nighttime now. Ern and Vanessa still are stuck. Ern finds a door, he thinks he can get out. Vanessa says, well, how do you know it's safe? And he says, well, let me go check and you stay here. But then she goes like, wait, you're just gonna leave me here with all your exes? And eventually they both go through. It's a really tight spot, it's dark, the screen cuts to black. Ern says it feels like carpet. She says it feels wet. And eventually they have to struggle through, and they burst through into that same funeral home that Paperboy is in. Paperboy is surprised to see him. They all start to leave. Ern doesn't want to go back to get his car. They walk outside. Kenya, the same girl, she escapes with them. She comes out right after they get out, and they all walk outside, and they see Darius. Darius has his air fryer. They hop in Paperboy's car. He offers to give everyone a ride home, and Darius gives Kenya the air fryer, and then she takes that because she's ordering an Uber. And pretty much the episode ends. So, interesting episode coming back, season 4, very subliminal, a lot of messages. I think what they're saying is this season we're gonna kind of be confronting their fame coming back. They've been back for a while. They're successful now, but now we're kind of dealing with the residuals of, you know, what's it like to be successful? What's it like to kind of live that life? You know, they're running into exes and stuff at the mall, and they're kind of stuck. Another interesting thing is when they're in the mall, the song Nobody's Supposed to Be Here by Deborah Cox is playing. So that's kind of a subliminal message, like, my heart said, no, I'm not gonna sing it. The messaging is interesting. As far as the whole Darius scene, you know, it's almost kind of like, you know, no matter what, if you're innocent, someone's always gonna think you stole something, even if you did the right thing. You know, no matter how far you get in life, no matter if you're in a quiet place, if no one's around, it's always gonna kind of creep up on you and be back. And I think with Paperboy, it's kind of like, okay, you're working hard, you're doing really well, but don't forget what it's all about, you know, because, you know, he struggles with having fun, letting people into his life, letting people into his struggle. So I think that message of this episode was like, hey, don't do all this, don't get rich and famous, don't do all this for nothing or not have any fun, because at the end of the day, you can't take any of this stuff with you. So I'm your boy Jay Will. Thank you for watching this video. I'm gonna be doing this Atlanta and Canaan going forward for a little bit. Make sure you hit that like, hit the subscribe, and put a notification bell so you know when I go live or make a new video. All right, guys, peace.